Why, hello, Rosie, Rosie, pocket full of posies.
I don't like the new addition on the left. We feel it looks so much smaller.
It does.
How do you get rid of it?
I don't know. Try that arrow.
Oh, that's so much
There
better.
you go. All right.
Sheesh. All right. Rosie.
Rosie. Everybody else is AWOL.
There's someone else here.
Who?
You want to talk about AWOL, mister? I ain't doing a live stream on a Monday with no warning.
I cannot divulge the reason at this present moment.
Rita.
Hey, y'all. We love that Tennessean accent here.
There ain't. Rita does not have a Tennessee accent.
How do you know?
Rita has a hometown accent. You people, the one that talk funny, coming from the north into Tennessee. So people from Tennessee don't have an accent when you're in Tennessee
I've got an accent.
because you're from the north.
No,
You're an invader.
no.
The people that are from the south don't have an accent when you're in the south. It's you people that talk funny.
I've been
Now,
in the South my whole adult life, you mister.
Samantha, Al, Rita again.
Al,
Mama.
is that you?
I don't know. I don't think that's Al. That is definitely Al right there. Now, for those watching YouTube on your phone, new feature, double tap the screen. That is now the like button.
Really?
Hmm?
So it's like
If you're watching a live,
it's
like
TikTok.
if you're watching a live and that's all that's on the screen, double tap it.
Okay.
Renee.
Renee Mirror after the Mirror translation.
Or is the mirror translation named after Renee? Bum, bum, bum. Tony, I'll tell you what, that day off did you some good. You are plumb giddy.
Oh, you have.
Tony's plumb giddy, y'all. I thought you should have told me that.
Is there anybody that would use the word giddy to describe me? Seriously. I've just got ain't nobody in their right
It took
mind.
Tony a full day to look up giddy. That's why we didn't do a live yesterday. He tells one of those made up words like he makes up all the time, Mr. Emotion Cotton.
Are you done yet? It ain't that funny. Lord.
Did you have a Monday today? I don't want to hear it. Oh, man.
Is there anyone on here that would describe me as giddy? Oh, you
To have some fun? Absolutely. You sourpuss.
That's not what you said before the show. Your exact
Prove
words.
it.
Your exact words before the show. There is no way.
Prove it.
All right.
All right.
I've got it on record.
We do need to start recording our pre-show banner. That would be a members video.
Yeah, but that would also be
Incriminating?
yeah, we'd have to get the bleeper out. Bleep. Bleep. That may not be.
Yeah, I've always said we need. I need one of those boxes that has all the different little sounds and everything.
Well,
It would work because the mic's right there.
That one live stream had a lot of those.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason,
Anyway.
So How's everybody day?
Is everyone giddy?
Is everybody giddy like CJ is?
Uh,
You're giddier than I am.
that ain't saying much, bro.
I know.
That's like stepping over a bar that's on. Samantha's from the north. She don't even know what giddy means.
Yes, she does. They use giddy up north. Don't be mean to Samantha.
Quit being a sourpuss.
Don't make me a sourpuss then.
I only bring people laughter and joy.
Not always.
Argue that.
Not always.
According to Mr. Al and Samantha, Tony, pray for her right now.
Samantha, I was protecting you. Why you want to do that to me?
It was 71 degrees today.
That affects me worse than it affects him.
I don't know. When I have to put on pants, it's a horrible day.
All right. Make sure it only goes in his backyard. Make sure it stays out
You
of
live
Virginia.
north of me.
Make sure it stays out of Virginia.
Not going to happen. Temperatures are 70, 69, 67, 71, 68, 63, 50. So next Monday is Samantha's fault. Actually, you know what? Is that rain? Is that late? With that temperature, it might.
There you go. It ain't going to me. Thank you. All right.
Well, Pastor Bill will say, send it to Virginia.
Yeah, that's the truth. Pastor Bill always says it.
Send it to Virginia, Lord.
Send it to Tony. He said that 100 times. Send every Virginia to Tony's place.
Yes. I concur with Mr. L. Spring has sprung.
I hope it has.
I mean, yeah, we got our 17 winters like the dogwoods and the blackberries and the cherries and the
the melon winter,
They finally turned the chillers on at work winter. You know, because every year we switch from boiler to chiller. It always has a cold front come through.
All right.
Mary. I thought Mary done checked. No,
I thought
Rosie. Rosie checked in.
Oh, Rosie? I thought. Okay. Oh, yeah. Was Rosie. All right. Shout out to y'all members.
Woo!
And all I could say is April Fool's Day is coming up.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
CJ's favorite holiday, folks.
And it's on a Tuesday. Bum, bum, bum.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
April 1st on a Tuesday.
Y'all, I've got something to do then.
No, you don't. Yeah, you have to be right here for Two Bros plus Jesus.
Have we ever had Two Bros plus Jesus on Fool's Day?
This is year number 5. Surely we have.
I don't know. Okay. I don't laugh. I don't know how you can hear me laugh. He laughs.
Hey, at least you got your ring out of the drain. That's a reason to be happy.
Thank you, Mark, my bro.
Shout out to Plumber Mark.
Thank you, Jesus. Mark come in. He was like, and it was up. So thank you, Jesus, for good friends like that. Now, let's talk about this. becoming supernatural, getting out of your own stinking way.
Mm-hmm.
I want y'all to think about when you were kids. For those of you who still aren't kids,
There's nothing wrong with being a kid at heart.
when you're like from between 10 to, or I'd say 8 to 13 or so, right? Where all the rough teenage stuff and the ways of the world ain't quite gotten there yet, at least for folks my age. But I want you to think about it. And I mean, you could take it even past the teenage years. But it was really not, we survived so many things. And I know if you actually gave half a thought about it, I would guarantee at least half of you, probably 3/4 of us, experienced some supernatural activity in some way,
Shape or form.
shape, or form. Because I mean, just for those of you, 40 and up, I know for sure Generation X, maybe some of CJ's little Generation Z through M.
Can't even get it right. You labeled person labeler.
But just the jarts. Y'all remember the jarts? You don't remember no jarts, do you?
You didn't even ask.
Do you remember the jarts?
Refresh my memory.
So you don't remember.
Refresh my memory. It may click. Because
You-
with the way you make up words, I don't even know the word you're saying is right. And that's a fair statement.
They were jarts. They were made out of steel. They were about this long. They were darts.
You said jarts, not darts.
That's the name of them, jarts. They were jarts. You would go outside and throw them suckers. They had a point on them, and we would throw them at each other. And
I mean, we threw plenty of stuff at each other. I don't remember no steel airs.
no, these were jarts. Yep.
Lawn darts.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done lawn
They
darts.
were jarts. No, they made them illegal after like a year or two because people were getting killed. Exactly right. There are so many times when you experience a miracle, especially as a kid, because it just flows.
Mm-hmm.
And you really see yourself when you're a kid
As invincible.
as invincible,
Immortal.
immortal. What else?
Indestructible.
Indestructible.
In worst case scenario, one little kiss on the boo boo from mama made it right.
I never got that one, but okay. I'll take your word for it.
Don't you argue, my mama.
No, my generation, you don't go to mom or dad if you got hurt. You stayed out and you kept going. If you went to mom and dad, it didn't matter what it was, broken bone, it did not matter. That was no, you take your butt back outside. There were a lot of little sayings, but we as children.
I always love getting in the big tires.
Oh yes. Oh, absolutely. We saw ourselves as untouchable.
Mm-hmm.
And really, right there. And we had a real active imagination.
Yep.
Um, and I mean, I'm sure there was at least one person like me that pretended he was Superman, jumped off the roof. I'm sure there's more than just me. Um, yep, there, kid on the head. That'll give you something to cry about. Yep, that's what we would get.
Rub some dirt on
Yep. Um,
it. There you go. Eric says he was Superman.
yep. You're
What is the Canadian version of Superman?
the female version.
You know who said that, Eric? Mm. Mm.
Did I say that?
You said the quiet part out loud, bro.
I saw a meme today.
Oh, good, good. And I gotta Google that. Hold on.
I saw a meme today that said, this show picture of somebody like Lou Ferrigno, somebody all jacked up. And then they said, this is what Canada thinks they look like in opposing Trump. And then they had a skinny little boy, somebody smaller than me, down below. But this is what they really look like. Okay. I apologize in advance. I had to laugh at that one. Okay. So, we ain't talking politics tonight. But if you think about that, think about how vivid our imaginations were,
Mm-hmm.
how sold out you were,
Mm-hmm.
and but at the same time, how incredible things happened effortlessly. Even if you got hurt, you did not die.
Yep.
And when you look at some of this stuff, I know I did. There was a lot of them that should have been dead.
Mm-hmm.
You take that and you remember that and you transpose it to today as you are now. You go back to that way of thinking, which for 13 years I did incredibly well. And CJ, I think, will attest to that, that there was a long period of time the supernatural would just flow with me, correct? And it didn't matter what it was, whether it was dropping my heavy sledgehammer on my foot and it wouldn't do nothing to it, stepping in front of a bus, whatever. My point being is we need to remember that period, and I'm speaking for myself as well. We need to remember that time period and bring it into now
Mm-hmm.
and put it on steroids. I did not say use steroids, as I put it on steroids. All right. Because if you think about it, these things happen, and I'm talking about, there were a lot of supernatural things that I saw. That truly were unexplainable. Unexplainable. I'm not going to go into them, but well, I'm not going to one thing. I would literally go from one place to another as it would have been, what do they call that? What Philip did.
Hello, Linda.
Um, you know, there were quite a few times. Now I've had that happen as an adult too, but that I would be in one place and then something that would be 45 minutes away, I would be there in a half a second. Bam. Um, correct. I don't know who Larry you talking about. I don't know who Larry Norman is. Unless you're talking about Norm on Cheers. Translated. Yeah, that's the churchy term. You got it, Gene. But that comes with such ease. And why? Because you are actively using your imagination the way God created it to happen, which the imagination is another realm. It's a realm in itself. It's the realm where we create our reality.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is in the West, we're not taught this. In the West, the imagination, well, you're daydreaming there. Snap out of it. Right?
Or grow up.
Grow up. You need to grow up and stop daydreaming. You need, imagination is considered false. It's considered made up. Whereas it's the reality of where we create our reality.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole nother realm, which churchy people would call being in the spirit, but is actually natural for us to do that. It's the way God created us, but it is stifled.
Told to face reality. That's another good one, Rita.
Yes, it is stifled. The older we get, the more demands are to conform and to not do it. And so we end up looking at it as a waste of time and everything else instead of the way God created it. Yes.
Yeah, apparently Larry Norman is a musician.
Oh, okay.
It's like when you see a kid playing now, you're like, they ain't got a care in the world. But not having that care in the world is what keeps you free and open to that supernatural, where as an adult, you're bogged down by circumstances
Right.
and everything else, and your mind's too daggone cluttered.
With a child, right? They're stepping out of themselves. They're not getting in the way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we need to learn to do, which is why I started off with remember when you're a kid. You've been there once, so that means you can return to that place.
Yep.
Think about it. Think of how much peace you were in, no matter what the situation was. Oh my gosh, I remember a time when
Boom. Unless you turn and become like
Right.
children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven, from Matthew 18, verse 3.
Correct. And that's the truth. Now, people take that in a different way because people love to shut out the supernatural. But when you get out of your own self, get out of your way,
Mm-hmm.
then you become who you truly are, which is spirit.
Yep.
Then you can operate in a reality that creates. and it comes without stress, strain, or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
You're in perfect peace. And I'll give a for instance, when I don't even remember what age we were. It was fairly young. My brother got bit by a bee, stung by a bee. Bit, stung, what's the difference?
A lot to go on.
He got stung by a bee, all of a sudden it swelled up. He started having difficulties breathing and all that crap. And well, of course, being me, I calmly grabbed my knife and I made a deep old. I enjoyed cutting stuff. And
Surprise, surprise.
so I made a deep X right where he got bit,
Stung to go on.
stung. You say tomato, I say tomato. Okay.
I say Mater.
And I let the blood flow out. I wasn't worried about nothing. I'm like, it'll be fine. And it turned out okay. But from then on, so we used to catch the bees in our hands.
You know, I was about to say disclaimer, be advised, viewers do not do this, but as a kid, you don't have disclaimers. You just did it.
Right.
There's another example.
There you go. But then found out he was allergic, blah, blah, blah. But the cool thing was, and now we know just letting the blood go probably didn't do a whole lot. I mean, the throat was swelling up and all. But guess what? All of a sudden, the swelling went down. He didn't have to go to the hospital. And he was just fine. And that's why I bring it up. And it wasn't until just now that I even thought of that. And that was a true miracle. And that's what it takes. And then you can walk in that more and more and more. And then it seemingly comes out of nowhere. This is why people think that God is dictating it when it's actually us that are dictating it, because we're finally letting what should be natural to us happen because we've gotten out of the way. So many times when we try to will things to happen, then what happens? That's when our carnal mind, to use CJ's churchy word, the carnal mind comes into play.
You want to try that statement again, bro?
The churchy word
Okay.
that you like.
You're leaning too close to me anyway.
I haven't crossed your line once.
You're right on it.
So that's when your intellectual mind and all interferes. Right? And so it's getting out of the way. Now, I did want, and I am so glad that came up. All right. You can call it ego, you can call it whatever you want, right? If you're churchy, unlike CJ, then you'll call it carnal mind. If not, you can call it intellect, you can call it ego, I don't care what you call it. So many times, and it's taught like this, we try to subdue that part. We try to fight the ego. We try to fight the intellect. We try to, the rational mind, We try to get rid of it. These are things you can't get rid of. And I really want y'all to think about this. Instead of trying to stop it, instead of trying, because it's still a part of us. Okay? Let me get this formulated and out in a coherent manner, maybe. It's a part of us. We have an ego. And it's there, and it's not an enemy. Our intellect is not an enemy. Our rational mind is not an enemy. The problem is, especially when it comes to wanting to see the supernatural, that one, it gets taught as if it is, and I've been guilty of that, when the truth is they are necessary functions, and people that teach medicines and that stuff, that's the reason why they teach that, because they think that the ego, the intellect, and all that's the enemy. It's not. What it's doing when you're focused on the spiritual, since the carnal mind cannot understand the spiritual things of God, right? When it is spirit, when you're focused on the supernatural, the intellect, your rational mind, interferes. Why? Because it wants attention. And the best way I can describe that everybody can relate to, is when you're meditating, right? That's a spiritual behavior. Then all of a sudden, while you're meditating, you get, oh, I need a cup of coffee. You get, oh, I'm hungry. While you're trying to meditate. The way we want to fight that is by pushing it off and pushing it off. What most people call discipline. We're going to push that thought away and then get back to it. Oh, right? That's the way most of us deal with it. You heard that too, didn't you?
You hungry?
Good example. Here I'm talking spiritual, and my stomach's growling, saying you're hungry. All right.
You look like you're always hungry.
I'm 142 pounds. All right. The biggest I've been in a long time. So, instead of staving it off, like you got a shield and stay back, you intellect, incorporate it. Make it a friend. Give it something to do. All right. How do you do that, Tony? Here's one thing, very simple solution here. You take a pen or a pencil.
There's none in this room.
I know. Because you don't want me clicking them.
Yep.
And put them in your hand. And you can do this while you're meditating, by the way. There's not way out there. I'm just giving this as one example of a way to include your rational mind. All it is it wants to be involved. So just by taking up the pen, that is something tangible. And then just right, whatever starts flowing in. In doing things like that, you are including that part of you. It's no longer an enemy and in the way. Try it. I'm telling you. because now you're embracing it and you're not excluding it. It's no different than telling someone no. You tell me no, don't do that, I'm going to do it. It's the same thing. And so when you engage your intellect in a non-destructive manner, then it becomes a help and not a hurtful thing. So instead of trying to fight it off, you're joining forces with it. And this can include while you're praying, while you're speaking life over someone.
Well, when I was a wee little lad, about the size of Tony, believe it or not, probably 5th grade, I go out with nothing but basketball, no hoops or nothing, and just dribble it in the street. Arrows would disappear.
Hmm?
And Molly can attest to that.
All right, what am I missing to
Where you at?
Samantha's question?
I'm assuming it's coming from that.
Oh,
Where when Eric put that up, but I was letting you finish your point before we got to questions.
okay.
So if you're ready, we'll go to this question.
Heaven's
assuming
always
that-
within, but the problem with most people is
It's a little box out in the corner collecting dust
right.
when you got life because you can't get life off the brain.
And this is because we're so focused in the intellectual and in the rationalization that we're using that part of our mind, which is a lot of that's our brain. Okay. And so it takes the imagination, and which me and somebody argued about this for 300 million hours one time. Oh, I remember. It was my buddy Martin. But the left side of the brain is the ones that they say the imagination lights up, right? When you're using your imagination. And so that's the thing, though, is that's the spiritual part. That's when we're connected to the spirit. But and so many adults, guess what? Because they've been taught not to use that part, it don't light up. But that's your spiritual playground there. And so you can use, and like I just said, this is where this information of giving your intellect, giving your rational thinking, giving your ego something to do, and something to do is as easy as picking something up and twirling it, right? This is physical. You are engaging that portion now. And so now you're free to use your imagination because your intellect is being paid attention to. It's like a kid that's striving for attention, and so he's throwing a hissy fit. And that's why when you meditate, when you're involved in something spiritual, you get so bombarded by the hunger. You get so bombarded by those thoughts, those physical thoughts. It's your intellect throwing a temper tantrum. And so this is one way to settle it down. What
You're trying to make fidget spinners come back, ain't you?
was a fidget spinners?
That's where you had
Oh,
the circle in the
that?
middle. No, they had the circle in the middle and you could just twirl it.
Oh. But see, I do stuff like this because what am I doing? Exactly what I'm teaching.
At least you ain't clicking a pen.
But then that's when you can let your imagination go wild. Knowing it's not a falsehood, knowing that that's where you're creating. And so I think that would be a big help to a lot of you, especially the ones that have problems meditating. You can pick up a pencil while you're meditating, and then now your intellect's got something to do. So you'll be able to focus on the spiritual matters. All right. Did I even get to a good explanation for you, Samantha? I know I went down a rabbit hole or two. But yes, the kingdom of heaven is within us. And yes, we need to become like little kids, open, accepting of the spiritual things
Mm-hmm.
instead of having to fight with our intellect and our rational thinking. You can work in a combination of that.
All right, Tony, pop quiz. What does TY mean?
To you,
Try again.
Tony, yes. I know that's thank you, you big ogre.
Well, remember last week, I had to give you an abbreviation class.
On what?
You forgot about last week's show already?
Well,
It was Rita and someone else dropping abbreviations and you didn't know what they meant.
what was the abbreviation?
I don't remember.
Oh. But that's the biggest part of our problem. As adults, we've conformed to the adults. And so we stopped using the imagination the way God designed it to be.
Yep.
It's not the way we think in this Western world. And it's real easy because if you go to the Eastern, you can tell. I mean, totally different culture, and the imagination is not this fake world of misbelief, or what do you call it? Not misbelief, make believe. If we get away from that and be like when we were little kids,
Mm-hmm.
Superman with the cape, Batman with whatever Batman had, his horns, I don't know. The Green Arrow with the Green Arrow.
The Green Lantern with his magic ring.
Yeah. And so then things will start opening up spiritually easier and easier. And you're just letting it flow. The more realization, and me and Zane talked about this pretty in depth on one of our shows. The first 4 books of Genesis shows that, and I don't want to get into it too deep, but you know, where there's the 2 times that God supposedly created people, and that it seems like it's copying, which the answer is actually in chapter 2, verse 4. It was because the first time God creating it in the realm of the imagination. The second time is when it came to pass and was physically happening. And it says as much. And so there's also several verses in Hebrews that goes back and points right back to the garden and talks about it. That right there is the blueprint. So what you think about that? The prophets, they were called seers. And they always spoke as if it had already happened because it had to them, because they saw it in their imagination. They already saw it, therefore they already experienced, therefore it had already happened. That's why they say, I see. Not I imagine, but I see this, and this. Because as soon as they saw it, to them, it was real. This is not faking it till you make it. This is not lying about it or anything else. But it's truly using the realm the way it was meant to be and the way God created us, because that's how He does it. We were created in God's image. Therefore, when we do it the same way He does. Gotcha? Got it. And the more, oh my gosh, right after my original healing, that's where I was really cultivating being in the realm of the spirit, in the realm of the spirit, using the imagination. And I would imagine all sorts of stuff. But there was a truth to it. And a lot of that time I saw some wild stuff. So, heck, I would see an ambulance and let an image come to my mind, let the Holy Spirit bring an image. I would see what the person looked like, male, female, what was wrong, and then I would imagine they were completely healthy. I did not need to know nothing else, and still don't. Why? Because, and just to emphasize it, think about this. The Tower of Babel that they were making to reach the heavens, right? And God said, if they keep going like this, they will reach the heavens. We can't have that.
Mm-hmm.
That's how powerful your imagination is. There is such thing as vain imagination, which that's what that was. And you've got no reason. We're not honoring the god Zeus that's in the ozone layer up there on Mount Olympus. Our God is within us.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So hopefully, this will stir up your visualization and you'll start using it. What you think?
You know what I think, bro? You were so giddy, we forgot to do announcements. And we have the important announcement we got to make.
Huh?
You forgot already?
What am I forgetting?
What Sunday?
What's Sunday?
You and Deb's anniversary.
Is it Sunday or no?
Yeah, it's a.
No. Karen, when's our?
You want to argue with that one?
No.
Okay.
It's not the 16th. It's either the 12th or the 13th. It's either 12th or the 13th. It's either tomorrow or Thursday. Who are you calling now?
Who do you think I'm calling?
You ain't calling my wife.
No, you don't mind my call. He says it's the 12th or the 13th. So which one of y'all's not?
It's here. 12th
You
or
wrote the
13th.
16th, bro. It's your fault.
I don't think they could read my handwriting, probably.
That's probably true.
It's here 12th or the 13th.
Well, you wrote the 16th, so I'm going with that. I won't even argue with that one. You can, I ain't. All right.
It's here 12th or the 13th. I guess I have to look up our marriage certificate to find out.
For shame, for shame, for shame.
Look,
Look,
you know we forget our anniversary every year, both me and my wife. In fact, I'm the one that normally remembers it finally.
because I remind you. I remember last year. You did something on the computer. It may have been a Monday live or something, or a specialty live on a day or whatever. I was like, Tony, don't forget your anniversary. You're like, oh yeah, hey honey, happy.
And I would probably go home and tell her happy anniversary.
It's just like whatever. I'll say, bless that woman for putting up with you all these years.
All right, let's see. This is 25 minus 11. 25 minus 11.
14.
14 years. All right. So, we got anything else?
That's all I know about.
And you know, I already done forgot about that. We got an announcement to make.
But regardless, everyone can now comment happy anniversary. It's sometime between now and our next live.
There you go.
There, Eric said it perfectly.
Well, people don't get during that time I was paralyzed. We had bigger things to worry about than that. You know what I'm saying? All right. So, you got anything else? Any more surprise announcements?
I do have an idea about April 1st, but we'll wait till you started it.
We need to do something
Oh, I've already got it.
that includes them.
I've already got it.
And
Don't
not
even worry
me.
about it. I've already got it.
All right, y'all. Did y'all get anything out of this? Give me some feedback, peoples.
Everyone's been. It must have been so good. Everyone just tuned in or
Everybody was
fell asleep.
quiet. Everybody went to nap.
The time change messed with everyone.
All right. Does ain't nobody comment? Love y'all. Be blessed.
Be healed.
Be
A
a
blessing
blessing.
Love y'all.